It's Wednesday, 11th of December, day 4 on our trip. We stayed at Maddie Kaplan's last night, woke up really early and went to Amy and Bjorn's gym, CrossFit Games, and you trained there for a bit. And we did a little interview with Bjorn. Then we drove to Geelong, so we backtracked and went back to Dean Lyndon Leighton and Chris Chalmers. Dean Lyndon Leighton is a regionals athlete and Chris is the owner of CrossFit Geelong. You trained with them again, and then I think you got sick. And I kind of just filmed and interviewed, and yeah, I always wanted to go to that gym. It's probably one of the most successful CrossFit gyms in Australia. And Chris runs a really tight ship down there, and it's an impressive gym. So it was great to actually go there, and I wish I was able to do a class there and do a workout, but at least I got to have a good chat with Chris and see how he does things.
And what are the plans for the rest of the night?
We're gonna go to Bounds. Woo! I can't bounce, but I'll be there.
It'll be fun to watch.
Fun to watch Amy and Maddie bounce.
Blah, blah, blah.
I don't know, I'm gonna let my legs make the decision.
Come on in. 1, 2.
I'm not bouncing though.
Oh shit! I really dancing.
Oh my god, you're gonna hit me.
Hi, my name's Chris Hogan for CrossFit 121. I've been doing CrossFit since 2007. In 2009, 10 and 11 I competed at the World Games, and I've competed at every regional since they started. This is welcome to my gym, CrossFit 121 in Melbourne.
Do you have any, like going back to 2009, like the events and like the athletes that were there, do you have any kind of memories, I guess, that stands out?
Oh yeah, like 2009 was, you know, like I was there with, like, you know, my CrossFit heroes that I'd seen, like, you know, Josh Everett's, you know, I hadn't met Pat Barber, you know, Steve Willis was there, you know, a guy who I competed with and I had a lot of respect for.
And he obviously did well there.
He did pretty well there, yeah. But the first run, like, we got out, they sang like the national anthem, Greg Glassman gave his little speech, and then they said, okay guys, you're off. Like, we're running along, and I remember running along. And I remember Steve, we ran up the road, down the road, and we went back in and up the hill, and I remember I'll run with Steve. Steve's a pretty good runner. Like, he flogged me on the sand dunes. It's like, oh, so he'll just tow me along. So I'm cruising along with Steve, pretty cool. And I was like, no, he's going too slow. And I'm like, no, I'm going too fast. And I'm like, no, he's going really slow. So I just cruised off. And then I was like, I ran up to Josh Everett. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. I'm running with Josh Everett. And I was just hanging out. And I'm like, Chris, what are you doing? You're supposed to be running. Like, so I cruised off on Josh Everett. And I was running past all these guys, just having a ball. I got to run probably just behind Chris Spiller for a little bit, but he obviously burned me pretty quickly. Yeah. But, you know, I got to run with Blair Morrison for a while. All these guys that I'd seen, you know, seen on sort of camera and you know, getting up on the CrossFit Games site then back then, and that was just that was pretty awesome. And that was probably one of the hardest runs I've ever done still. That was pretty disgusting. It's a bit strange. It was a really rushed day. You know, we had so much work to get in that day, so there wasn't like a, hey, let's chill out and have a bit of fun and get to know each other. Yeah. You know, we got there, we lined up for our run. you know, and it was like, okay guys, the girls are going to go first. So we're standing out there just chilling out there, and they're like, no, the guys are going to go first. And it's like, no, you're all going together. So we all just took off. And I'm like,
sounds like CrossFit.
Yeah, so it's sort of a bit like, you know, okay, we're on. And then as soon as we finished, they lined us up in the order we're going to deadlift. Because remember, you only had something 20 minutes from, or 15 minutes from the time the last person finished to the first person went out to deadlift. So we all like sat in this line, Dave Castro's calling us out, bang, 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 bang. It was like, okay, cool. And there was no warm-up. Like, there was no warm-up, there was no chalk, there was no anything. Like, sit in the line, you're going to get called out. Now, luckily I was at the back, so I was like, oh, fuck this, I gotta go warm up. Like 140, you know, it wasn't a muck around weight for me back then. Yeah. So I'm gonna go warm up. We went out the side, and just so happened that Miko Salo's out there warming up. A couple of other guys were out there warming up. Me and Miko were actually sharing a bar. We both couldn't work out the poundages we were lifting, but we were just picking up weight. So, and then we went out there, got called out, and you know, got to cruise along. And I remember I had this little guy, no disrespect, but he was much slighter than I think his name was like Sean Provost, and he was one ahead of me. He just kept lifting the bars. I was like, fuck, I can't go out before this guy. Like, you know, he's tiny. So he just kept lifting the bars, and I think he got to about 190, and I pulled 190, I think 195. I think I got maybe like 205 up. You know, like with the biggest round back, sort of, you know, every vertebrae was getting pulled out of position. I rested it for about half an hour, and that was me done. And then as soon as I walked off there, I went and got drug tested. So I had to go get drug tested. You know, obviously that's a bit of fun. Josh Everett was the man, like he's in the heat. This is Josh Everett, everyone's on, you know. And I just remember thinking, I just want to keep trying to stay with him. Yeah. He was the Ollie guy at that stage. Everyone knew Josh Everett as the strongest eye lifter going around. Yeah. And I was doing my hang snatches. Benji was just yelling abuse at me. And I just kept churning through, and finally made it through my third round of wall balls. And you know what, I didn't miss too many. I didn't do them unbroken, but I wasn't missing that many. I was like, this is all right, like, you know. And got through my hang snatches. I finished the workout off. The whole crowd, like Dave Castro was all over Josh Everett, and I finished off. And then the cameras came over to me, and it was like, you know, you won your heat. And it was like, oh, that was pretty cool. Yeah, cool. You know? So I finished. That was the end of the day. That was I got cut at that, and I was pretty happy about that too. And I think you know, almost straight afterwards, I had a beer and almost went to sleep. Like, you know. It was about Adrian Bitsabani. I don't know what his name is. He's a guy who coached Kalipa to his first games, and he's taken this guy who's raw, you know, gorilla, and turned him into a CrossFit champion in 2008. And he's the first sort of guy to have a coach. Because everyone was coaching. Everyone was coaching themselves or their own clients and stuff. So Kalipa had a coach who wasn't actually a gym owner, like, you know, a guy had actually taken him there. So I wanted to start this coaching gig where he'd, you know, other elite CrossFitters would contact him, he'd coach them, and he'd start like this stable, you know, unbelievable. And it was popular because obviously he had the hot property, you know. This guy had come from obscurity and won the CrossFit Games. No one ever knew who he was. Apparently Dave Castro asked him when they pulled those guys into the room, people were standing in the door, and he said, hey, are you supposed to be here? And he's like, yeah, I'm Jason Kalipa, I'm in like 11th spot, like, you know. People started, you know, flooding these CrossFit CVs to him, and then he started vetting them, and, you know, yes, no, maybe. And this guy sent him like a CV, 24, 23, you know, ex-college sports, quit, going to maybe be a firefighter, him at times, love CrossFit, bench this, squat that, you know, a sub 5 minute Fran, a couple other watts. And he wrote back, thanks, but I'm only interested in coaching elite CrossFitters, you know, good luck, keep going, Rich Franny Jr.
Oh no.
Is that a true story?
It's a true story.
Wow.
So, he turned him down.
You turned him down?
He turned him down, yeah. About 2 years later, he came out and won the game. Hasn't lost since.
What year was that? What year did he?
I think it
must have been
2009.
2009. He was like accepting, you know, offers and stuff like that, and then 2011 he won the games.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, so there you go. Hindsight.
Unbelievable.